Here at Capcom, we're no strangers to zombies. But this game takes it to another level. With a wry smile on his face, Morimoto took out his phone and showed it to us. And there it was, Resident Evil 7, in a form we never imagined. Capcom is thrilled to bring its third Resident Evil title to the iPhone 15 Pro and other Apple devices. The game has been optimized greater than ever before to ensure the best possible RE experience. As with Resident Evil Village and RE4, using a controller like the DualSense or a mobile controller that attaches directly to the phone allows for a surprisingly comfortable gameplay experience. That being said, when playing on a mobile device without a controller, we felt the standard virtual controller just didn't cut it. So the development team took it upon themselves to optimize the touch controls for Resident Evil 7 on iOS. One of the biggest challenges we faced was implementing the auto fire feature. You can enable this setting so that your weapon fires automatically when aiming at an enemy, making it much easier to play without the use of peripherals. The early Resident Evil games also had auto-aiming. Despite the differences in specs, Morimoto wasn't willing to compromise on usability. With Apple's help, he was able to take on new challenges that prioritized the immersive experience. The menu, options, and inventory are now all touchscreen compatible, allowing for a more intuitive experience. The first part of the game is free to play. Resident Evil 7 is guaranteed to be frightful fun. If you have a compatible device, we highly recommend checking it out to see what you think. Since its release in 2017, Resident Evil 7 has sold 13 million copies. Now it's available in a new form on Apple devices. Up next, a confession from Koshi Nakanishi, the director behind the classic. Resident Evil was, well, if I'm being honest, as a brand, we were off track. Koshi Nakanishi, the distinguished director of Resident Evil 7. Follow along as he shares previously undisclosed information about the game's origin. When we first started development, Resident Evil was, well, if I'm being honest, as a brand, we were off track. The action element had been expanded, and fans reacted much more negatively than expected. In the end, an RE game has to be scary. So we took another look at it. And the general consensus from fans of the series was that a Resident Evil game is one that should scare the hell out of you. That was the starting point for Resident Evil 7. I played Resident Evil from the beginning, and those early games were terrifying. I was excited to try and make Resident Evil 7 into a game that would live up to the RE name. The fear-inducing Resident Evil that Nakanishi was after had a major impact upon its release. But the course that he chose was far from the path of least resistance. In order to make a fear-focused Resident Evil, many elements of the game had to be re-evaluated from scratch. Like the setting, characters, the game system. Anything that didn't induce fear had to change, and sometimes we threw the whole thing out. And in order to make it scarier, we decided to go with a first-person point of view. Up to that point, RE had been third-person perspective with the character on the screen. But when you're viewing the world from a safe distance behind a character, it's not as immersive and frightening. First person forces you to be up close and personal. And that's exactly what we were trying to accomplish. Finally, we managed to draw out an intriguing bit of information from director Nakanishi. We'll let him have the final comment. We're making a new Resident Evil. It was really difficult to figure out what to do after 7. But I found it. And to be honest, it feels substantial. I can't share any details just yet, but I hope you're excited for the day I can.